I did a video recently about Redbubble called Why Your Designs Suck. It's a design masterclass. It's sitting right here on the channel. And I wanted to do another one specifically for Teepublic. I've had some requests for a little bit more Teepublic stuff. So that's what this video is going to be. Now, even if you don't sell on Teepublic, this can be a really, I think, useful video because Teepublic sells t-shirts, coffee mugs, apparel, that kind of thing. And although the interface is a bit different than Redbubble, the design aesthetics are the same. So I'm going to be covering off in this video ways you can improve your designs, and I'll be using real life examples on how we can get better. And look, all of these mistakes or all of these improvements, I've been guilty of myself. So I don't say any of this with any sort of malice or meanness. It's in the spirit of trying to help us make sales, and that means making better designs. I do want to point out as we jump in as well that art is subjective. And what that means is you may disagree with some of the things that I'm about to say, but that's all right. And I welcome your comments and your questions down below. Again, we're going to use some real life examples here. It's certainly not meant to hurt anyone's feelings, but I think it's important because a YouTube channel talks, specifics, but it's into a general audience. So I'm going to be drilling down on those general ideas to specific examples. So I apologize in advance if I'm hurting anyone's feelings. That's certainly not my intention. Okay, let's jump in here. And the first one is a bone of contention with me on any print-on-demand platform, and it's stickers. So here's an example of a sticker on Teepublic. And you can see here, Teepublic gives you the option to do what they call a kiss cut or a die cut. And basically it goes around the design and it adds a little white apron to it. So what'll happen is that the sticker itself can become really jagged and ragged. You can see here all around the edges. This may not be super appealing to a customer. What a customer may want instead would be a sticker that's just a rectangle or just a circle. So I would encourage you to take a good look at your stickers on Teepublic because this die cut can really cause problems and may cost you a sale. Here's another example. This is a great looking design, Strawberry Buddies, but because it's not round or square or a rectangle, you may lose sales. Now you may not. Somebody might look at this and think that's exactly what I want, but I would just encourage you to take a good look at your stickers. And generally speaking, you'd want to do rectangles, or I actually really like circles as well. I think those look really good on magnets and really good on stickers. Here's just some examples of some stickers. You can see Teepublic gives you the option to do a square, a circle, and then you can do this kiss cut or die cut. There's no right or wrong because it is art, but if you're not making sales and you're wondering why, just take a look at these differences. Generally speaking, you'd want something that's round or square. Not always, but generally speaking. The other thing here we're going to cover is text and font. So again, these are individual opinions. These are my opinions. Feel free to agree, feel free to disagree. This is one where if you didn't look at the title over here, then you may not know what this actually says. So this actually says, "In space we trust." And it's a good idea. It's just the font is really hard to read. This space word, the P looks kind of weird and the R looks kind of weird. So what I would encourage you to do is if you're using text-based designs, you absolutely want to make sure that the text is easy to read. You'll notice as well, this little Saturn-like object here, this planet, is kind of stuck right in the middle of the text. Probably not the best place for it. If it was me, if I was making this design from scratch, I would use just a basic font. I'd still overlay the rainbow on top of it, and I would probably move the Saturn either down below or up top, or even off to the side with maybe a little overlay where it's like partly overlaid one of the letters, but I would certainly not use a font like this. I think it's really hard to read, especially from a distance. Here's another one. It says, "In an alternate reality, I'm you." Great idea. This font has two problems with it. One, as you can see, it's pretty squished, right? And so that makes it really hard to read, especially from a distance. And the second one is the actual type of font. This is like a Comic Sans font or part of that family. And it generally speaking looks a bit amateurish. So this is one of the reasons that I'm such a big fan of fonts is because it's an easy fix. So if you stretch this out and if you use a font that's a little more, say, professional looking, then this would be, I think, a great design. Here's another one. And again, if you don't look over here at the actual title, it's kind of tough to read. I actually thought this said, I scared last night, but it's not. It says, I scored last night, and it's a gaming sticker, and I think it's a great idea. So this is a great looking font in the sense that it is trying to recreate a baseball theme, right? It's got the nice baseball-esque little underline underneath it. I would just encourage you to either expand out the font or just make sure that it is readable from a distance. Now, again, if you're making sales, don't worry about it, because I know what'll happen. I've met the internet and I know how it operates, and people will sometimes respond with, well, I'm making lots of sales. Why are you saying to change the design? I'm not saying to change the design. I'm saying if you're not making sales and you're wondering why, this is a great idea. You may want to have a slightly easier to read font. You may want to play around with different script fonts and see if there's one that looks a bit better from a distance. This is another one where the name of the font, like the actual word here, is Ferocious, which I love the idea. There's a couple problems I've got with this. The Ferocious font is hard to read. It's P-U, and then there's an R and an R in there, but it can be a bit hard to read. So I would encourage you that if you don't need script font, and script just means it's got like these little, like it's handwritten, it's got the little floofies here at the top and the bottom, it looks like it's handwritten. I'm not a huge fan of these in general. I would encourage you to take a look at something like a Futura-based font, something that just looks very easy to read. Even a Times New Roman would probably look better. I would look for something that's maybe a combination of script, but just a bit less floofy. Like you can really see how, wavy this is. The other thing that I don't like is the color scheme. The red and the white is fine, but it's this blue I have a bit of a problem with, just because it can be hard to read. Blue and red, because it's a light blue, they tend to contrast a little bit. Again, personal preference. I would probably do Ferocious and have a white and a red and maybe a black, or maybe just have two colors instead of three. Three starts to get a little bit messy. Here's another one. It says, my teacher was wrong. I do get paid to stare out the window all day. Great idea. And it's a pretty decent looking design. It's got a truck here because obviously he's staring out the window because he's a truck driver. I got one issue with this, and it's minor, but you can see here the word the is stuck over top of the punchline. And I have a problem with these in general when you have funny designs. If you have a funny design, like this obviously has a setup and a punchline, don't cover up the punchline. So where it says, I do get paid to stare out the window all day, I would modify this font where I say, I do get paid to stare out, and then I would move the up here. I'd make the font smaller, or I'd move it to 2 lines. But window all day, I would have prominently displayed at the bottom. I wouldn't hide window underneath the word the. Overall, though, it's a cool design. Okay, this next one says, she got mad hustle and a dope soul. And you can see, I just took a screenshot here on Teepublic of a few different designs. And you can see here, I like this first one. I like this second one. I like this third one. I don't like this last one. Now, I understand the appeal of doing variants. So again, if you're cranking out 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 of these, and that's fine. But if this was the only one down here at the bottom, I'm not a huge fan of this. And generally speaking, if you've got a script font, which is like a handwritten font, the capital letters often are not very appealing to a broad swath of the public. So generally speaking, this first one, you'll see it's all lower caps where the actual script font is. It's all caps except for the script. That's lowercase. That looks great. Here's the second one, all caps except for the script font, and it's only the first letter that's capitalized. That's fine. Same thing here, all caps, and then just the script font is the first letter being capitalized. It's this last one where hustle and soul are all capitalized. It can look a little bit weird. So if you're not making sales, you may want to revisit if you're having all caps, first letters being capitalized, or if it's all lowercase. Here's another one. It says, you smell like drama and headache. Please go away. Now, the advice I'm about to give on this one is picky. I fully admit it. So if you're getting ready to be the keyboard warrior and tell me that I'm being a picky Pete here, I totally acknowledge that that's true. So this one says, you smell like drama and headache, please go away. I would recommend, if you're doing a funny design like this, the please should be down at the bottom. So please go away is like, imagine in like drama class, like if you're on like on theater, if you're on a stage, you talk in rhythm. You talk in like a musical rhythm. It goes dun 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 dun. So this one says, you smell like drama. That's one piece. Or it says, you smell like, and then drama is one piece. And then drama and headache can be one piece. And then please go away is one piece. So I've got an example here. So notice the please is on the wrong line. Here I've got just an example I just called up on Teepublic. You'll notice all the pleases most of them are on their own line. Please get away from me. Please get away from me. Please get away from me. Please go away. This one's close. Please get away from me. And this one is all vertical. But generally speaking, the please is a turnoff because it's up here. So imagine if you're reading this line by line. You smell like drama and headache, please go away. It's like, what? Whereas if you see this one, you smell like drama. That's the punchline. And a headache. That's the punchline. Please get away from me. So you want to make sure to space out your text so that you're getting the maximum effect when somebody reads your text design. This is another one here that says, the devil whispered to me, I'm coming for you. I whispered back, bring beer. Okay, again, this is a picky little piece of feedback, but you got to remember, on a place like Teepublic or Redbubble or Merch by Amazon, the chances of you making a sale and not making a sale are sometimes razor thin. So if you come in second out of 400 designs, you're not going to make the sale. If you come in first out of 400 designs, you will make the sale. So this is picky, but I think it's important. The devil whispered to me, I'm coming for you. Notice I'm coming for you is in quotes. And that makes sense. This is correct because the devil is whispering to me. Quote, I'm coming for you. Quote, I whispered back. Where's the quotes? Bring beer should be in quotes. If you're going to do quotes up here, you'd want to do quotes down here. It's the consistency or lack thereof that I have a problem with. If you're going to have quotes up top, you want to make sure to have quotes down at the bottom. Here's another one. It says anti-Biden social club. Now, before anyone gets outraged, I do want to point out I have zero political affiliation with anybody on the planet. I'm not even American, so I don't really care about the context of the shirt. I'm only talking about the design aesthetics. So this here says anti-Biden social club. Whatever your text is, make sure it's spaced out properly. It's too spaced. There's a huge piece of black space right here. There's a huge piece of black space right here. So what I would encourage you to do is just look up a similar shirt. If you're brand new and you're like, this is all new to you, just look up a different shirt. And you can see that most text, they almost touch. You want to make sure to not have too much space in between your rows of text. The next thing here we're going to take a look at are image issues. And so these aren't really text related, but this is image related. Now, I want to stress, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody's designs. I'm not trying to put anyone's designs down. I don't know them as a human being. I'm only talking about the aesthetic in the intention of trying to make a design that sells. Now, one of the things that I am a big fan of is scaling up your designs. So you pick an item and then you substitute out a bunch of locations or professions or names or ages or years, that kind of thing. So I can see what this guy's trying to do. It says osteoporosis awareness. Now, I've seen this design before, but this is obviously a finger has been pricked. And this typically is used in the context of getting a needle or getting a vaccine, getting an immunization. So it says, nothing scares me. I'm a osteoporosis. I deal with pricks every day. My guess, and it's a complete guess, is that I'm guessing English is not this person's first language, and they've substituted in some sort of medical condition in exchange for the original medical condition, which was getting vaccinated or getting a needle. Here's another one. Nothing scares me. I'm a migraine headache. I deal with pricks every day. So it's like, right, but getting a prick in your finger is because you're getting a needle, and it doesn't really have anything to do with a migraine headache. So the reason I mention this, again, is not to make fun of anybody, but I can see that this person is scaling. So they've spent like a day, or at least hours, scaling up this design. Multiple sclerosis, multiple myeloma, migraine headache. This one here at the top, bottom right, nothing scares me. I'm a mental health. It's like, that's not, I'm a mental illness. Like, that's not, you're not going to sell these. And because it has nothing to do with the image itself. So you want to make sure that if you're selling a design, the actual picture when you're scaling translates to whatever the new thing is that you're scaling up. I just looked up on Teepublic pricks, like the keyword pricks, and you can see here they're using cactuses. This little porcupine, he's pretty cute. Don't be a prick. I imagine you'd see things like vaccinations and needles, that kind of thing. So you'd want to look and make sure the context of your design is matching the text of your design. Here's another one, and I'm mostly just concerned about the color of it. This says, I voted today t-shirt. Now, it's a black t-shirt, and it's got 3 different colors. It's got white, blue, and red. And of course, the t-shirt provides the 4th color. So the problem I have with this shirt is when you dip into the 3rd color, it can translate, it's a rough translation to a dark shirt. Here's the same shirt, but it's a light shirt. So my question is, which shirt are you supposed to buy? If you go dark, you have trouble seeing the V. And if you go light, you have trouble seeing the I and then the remainder of the word voted. So it's like, well, you can't use a red shirt, you can't use a blue shirt, you can't use a black shirt, and you can't use a white shirt. So it's like, maybe you can use pink, I guess. What I would encourage you to do is, instead of having 3 colors, I would encourage you to just go through 2 colors. So either have white and then maybe a red, or have white and then blue, or maybe have black and blue and black and red. So it's something to think about, just because if you don't sell any of these designs, the reason might be it's a great looking design, but the color is really tough to match to a t-shirt that works. Black is the most popular color. And so this is okay, but I would just ask, could it be better if you had slightly lighter font? And maybe that would work. Here's one of my favorites. I pooped today. Hey, congratulations, Stickman. So this is, I just wanted to point this out, that there's nothing really wrong with this shirt at all, but I wanted to throw in a positive one as well to go, I like this design. If you're making a design where you're having a black item and you want to put it on a black shirt, what you do is you stick a white square around it. And here he's got a little bit of distressed on the square, which is kind of cool. And so what you would do now is, whatever color shirt you buy, the little stickman will be that color, because the stickman's not really black. The stickman is nothing. He's just a removal of the white. So if I were to click blue or green or purple, he would come up with that color as well. This is a nice design. Instead of having a black stickman, just have a negative space stickman, and that works really well. This one says, I was strong last year. Next year, I will be stronger. What I would encourage you to do is that if you've got a period in the sentence, find a way to get this word next onto the next sentence, like down, like the next line down. So it should say, I was strong, and then last year it would be all the one line, and then next year I will, and then be stronger would be underneath. So you'd want to play around with this. If you're not making sales, it may just be because starting a sentence on the end of a line can just look really weird on a t-shirt. This one says Botox dealer. And if you're wondering what that last word is, you're not alone. I stared at it for a little bit and I was like, wait a minute, what does that say? And what this person's trying to do is they're trying to have a bit of a shadow. So they've duplicated the pink font. They've got a white background on it. The problem is twofold. One, the shadow is too extreme. They've moved, you can see here on the X, they've moved the white underneath it way too far out. So it's looking very hard to read. The second is pink and white are almost the same color, so it just makes it look really blurry. What you'd want to have is pink, and then go to a color wheel and have the opposite color underneath. And that way they complement each other rather than this weird interference pattern that we're getting here. Okay, the next one here is about spelling and grammar. I don't want to be the spelling Nazi here, so I apologize in advance. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Okay, so this one says, cat with a gun, it's a robbery, t-shirt. And the cat is saying, put all tuna on the floor and no one get hurt. Because this is a cat, I can live with this horrible grammar coming out of the cat's mouth. But if that's not the intention, then you would want to make sure to change that. So it should say, put all the tuna on the floor and no one gets, with an S, hurt. Again, I can live with it because it's like Icahn has cheeseburger kind of idea, which if that's the intention, great. But if not, you may want to revise this so that the speech balloon has proper English in it. Here's another one. We've got a cool looking t-shirt here that says punk's not dead. The problem is punks should be have an apostrophe in there. Should be punk apostrophe S, not dead. Because really what you're doing is you're saying punk is not dead. So it's punk apostrophe S. This one says keep smile. Now I'm confused by this one because it's got the word typo right in the title. So this may be on purpose. And if it's on purpose, great. God bless you. Go on with your life, make sales. But if you're not making sales and this was not the intention, this would be something like keep smiling instead of keep smile or keep a smile. Keep smile doesn't register with me from an English language perspective. But again, because the word typo's up there, that this may be on purpose. Okay, here we can see, this goes back to what I was saying about scaling. We can see that we've got different colors now for the skulls, but no one's going to buy these unless they absolutely don't care about grammar. Like if the design was so amazing that they can live without it being apostrophe, so be it. But I'll tell you, if I saw this t-shirt on the street, my first thought would not be, wow, what a great design. It would be, where's the apostrophe S? I know that makes me totally sound like a grammar Nazi, but that is something that I think people would notice. This one says, I poop every day. Great, but every day is 2 words. I poop every day. Every day is a totally different word in this context. So although I'm happy that this little white stick man has pooped, he wants to poop every space day. So I hope you guys found that helpful. A little bit of a walkthrough here on different areas we can improve if you're doing text designs and if you're doing image designs, colors, text. There's all sorts of things that you can work at. And again, this is art, so this is subjective. So again, feel free to throw your comments down below. And by the way, that first video that I mentioned, the one about Redbubble, I'm going to put that right here. So have a look at that and enjoy. Thanks a lot for watching.